Okay, form tags. So Spring comes with form tag library, and these are somewhat similar to what you find in standard HTML form tag library, but it does have a little bit more the power. So let's take a look at that. So unlike other form and input tag libraries, and Spring's form tag library is integrated well with the Spring MVC, giving the tags access to the command object and reference data your controller deals with. So it's a bit more integrated with Spring MVC. Okay, so we have seen example of form tags. So basically, let's assume we have a domain object called the command, and it's a Java bean with properties such as a first name and last name. And we could use it as a form backing object of our form controller, which returns from JSP. So here, when we do have, in fact, the form, so what this means is that suppose if you have a domain object whose name happens to be command, and then it will be automatically available to your JSP page as long as you guys are using Spring MVC tag. Okay, so it kind of saves you a little bit typing, I would say. Okay, but I usually prefer to have explicit notation of the model attribute or command object or something like that yesterday. So but if you don't specify, then it assumes that this form will use what is called the command model attribute. Okay, so that's basically what this slide is all about. You can certainly name it as a command name. Okay, so model attribute or command name, either one is fine, as we experimented yesterday, right? Okay, so I prefer to have an explicit usage of command name like this, okay, rather than implicit way of doing things. Okay, so if you want to actually use by the way, in order to use a implicit, the name of the model attribute in this case has to be command, right? If you do want to use user as the model attribute, then you have to use command name in this case. Okay, if you happen to have a command name equal command, then you don't have to have it. Does that make sense? Yeah, in general, I recommend to use command name or model attribute explicitly as an attribute. Okay, these are checkboxes. So checkboxes, and basically, you can actually access array object using this notation. So checkboxes will be actually extracting the values from this list of object, and then it will use it. Okay, so it's a bit more convenient, right? And radio buttons. So again, you can actually have a radio buttons coming from this sex options, model attribute. Password and select. Again, you can specify the skills that is an array of object or as a list of object, and from the list of object, it will provide the multiple select options. Okay, so we're gonna do exercise 5. So we're gonna just use these tags. So that's pretty much what we're gonna do here. So let's take a look at the lab documentation. Okay, so it's a form tag. So let's run this guy, and what you're gonna see is something like this. Okay, so form tags. Here you go. So let's stop the server and run form tag sample application, run as Java application, and main, and okay. Okay, this is deployed. So let's go over here, 8080. And basically, this is what we are going to see. Okay, so we have favorite subject, and this is checkboxes, and these are the so these are checkboxes, drop-down menus, countries like this, and let's take a look at the Oh, by the way, if you submit, then we are going to have some validation check here. Okay, like this. Okay. All right, so that is that. So study the control flow. So when get create form method of student controller is invoked, note that model yes. So if you take a look at the code, you see we have we're actually using student command, model attribute, and what else? Yeah, so this is basically student object. Oh, you're basically having student object, and this is the model attribute key name, student command. Okay. And now you can see we have a bunch of method that generate a model attribute. So this is an example we have seen already. It's creating a list of subject, and this is creating list of numbers. So numbers 1, numbers 2, blah blah blah. This is creating, in fact, it's creating a map object in this case, right? Okay. So we have Spring Core, Spring MVC. So this is a map object. And this one is creating country list model attribute object. Okay. And basically we are using those things here. Okay. So form command name, student command. Yeah, so this is actually exercising command name. So here we are using student command. If you take a look at student command, we are using it. So as I said before, one exercise you can do is, you do not suppose if you set this guy as a command, okay, then you don't have to have this, okay, because command is kind of assumed. All right, and here we are just using subject list, numbers list, and country list, and experience list, and things like that. And process list, we get the student command. We just check whether those things, yeah, so we're also getting the student command object as a model attribute. So this is a resulting page. And so for your exercise, add another field of Java experience among the following choices: less than a year, 1 to 3 years, and 3 to 7 years, and 7 years. And I want you to actually have them to be displayed as what is it? Just like you do a subject list, checkboxes. Okay. Okay, so I'll give you about 10 minutes to finish this up.